Jerome, is there any solution to the turnover problem right now?
What's our record?
17-12.
17. That's my math is a little off. 29 games. We 29 games in, and you still asking me this question. We have. Man, I don't know. I told you, I think we can win in spite of our turnovers. Like, that's something we hadn't figured out. So there's other areas we got to focus in on. I think we can do better. Do I expect Cam and Art to have 6 turnovers apiece? You know, in a game where we have 19, and I mean, so the rest of the team had 7. You know, I just rather them. It'd have been better off they just chucked it up from half court. We might have made a couple, you know, than turn it over. You know, I mean, you know, we're tweaking a lot of things. I don't know how you change decision making in a short period of time. So.
Last year you had a number in mind. Is there any number you stress with these guys?
Our number stays the same. If we're 11 or less, we're undefeated. I think we can go look back in this season and say, man, we keep it under 14, we would be, you know, in a really good spot. So, but you can't give up 29 points off of turnovers, right, and expect to win. And the fact that we were even in a position to win that game is just a credit to them doing all the other things, you know, that gives you a chance. So, you know, gotta love our guys for that kind of effort. And then, you know, you and I pull our hair out because, you know, we put ourselves in that situation, and it shouldn't be that situation.
How good has Tyler been 3 games now?
Man, he's been really good. I think somebody said, might have been Ryan. Ryan, you know, put out there like 61.5%. You know, I think the guys have tried offensively to buy into some of the changes we've made, and it's helped everybody play a little bit better. Last game felt like some of our turnovers was because we got away from that, and you know, and maybe, you know, the pressure, you know, maybe it is, you know. I mean, I was clear with them that it was a big game, you know. I was clear, not just because it was the next game. It was a huge game for us, and we were right there, and we let it slip away, you know. And we didn't let it slip away at the end, though. We let it slip away during the course of the second half, where we gave them, you know, 2 12-point leads, or 12. I think one might have been 13, you know. So it wasn't the end of the game that hurt us. It was those middle pieces that we have lulls. But, you know, the great thing is that, man, had a really good day yesterday. Guys are fired up. Like, we got great energy. You know, the loss, although it got to our hearts, it didn't linger. And I was happy about that it did get to their hearts, you know, but we didn't let it linger. Staff did a great job with the guys, and I feel like we'll have another great day today and be ready to play tomorrow.
What would you say it is that makes it so difficult for teams to win in Allen Fieldhouse?
16,300. No, that, and I mean, the dude on that other bench is like special, right? Like, he just is. I don't, like, it is not above me or past me, or right, to compliment that man on his ability to coach basketball. Let me change. Coach Tim Maloney would always tell me we coach people, we teach basketball. Bill does. He's the best in the country right now. There's not a better coach in America at teaching the game of basketball and coaching people. And then they get really good players, right? And so he gets all of that combined with the monster that he doesn't have to feed, right? He doesn't have to feed that monster up the road. Those dudes, their fans show up every game. It doesn't matter if it's spring break. It doesn't matter what's going on. That place is packed, and there's an energy there. And so you have to go in with all of that, right? But at the end of the day, you're playing between a 94 by 50, and the rims are 10 feet high, and it's about the 5 guys that are on the floor at one time, and players got to go make plays. And so we're excited about this opportunity.
Is it good or bad that you catch them on a 2-game losing streak? On one hand, maybe they're sputtering, but on the other hand, that they don't lose 3 in a row very often?
Ask me tomorrow night. That's what it boils down to. Like, do you want to play them when they're hot? Do you want to play them after a loss? Do you want to be like? There's always like you really just never want to play them at that place, right? That's really what it boils down to. But this is where we're at, and we're looking forward to it.
It's their senior day. From your experience, is that more difficult as a coach to get them ready, or does it tend to get players more fired up?
I really haven't had a chance to pay attention to who's a senior and who's not, because it's hard to know. So like, who's a senior and who's been there long enough and is playing enough minutes for it to mean like something really, really special to him, especially with this day and age in college basketball. So I've never played there on a senior night, so I don't know about that. I know as a coach, you're always concerned on senior night whether your guys are too emotional or they're trying not to be too emotional because they don't want to, like there's that fine line. You just let the game tip, see what happens. Hopefully in the first 5 minutes you can get your guys to either settle down or ramp up and it's not too big of a deficit, and then you go from there.
In their case, I think they have several guys that are seniors but also could come back, so you never know anymore.
Yeah, you never know. I don't, so.
Do you think that has hurt the fans that follow these teams in any way, or no?
I think there's still 16,300 that's going to show up there, I mean, I think it's nice for fans to get to know players, but I believe that, like, our fan bases, they support Kansas State. And if you wear a K-State uniform, they're going to support you, and that's to me is what really makes college basketball so special.
Are you seeing longer stretches where your team is connected offensively?
Am I seeing longer stretches of it? Yeah, I mean, I think so. We've been scoring at a higher clip, shooting the ball better, so I really don't judge it that way as much as last game we just didn't feel like our defense showed up the way it needed to for 40 minutes. And so it wasn't even though the turnovers were there on offense, that obviously we got to, figure out if anybody has a fairy dust, bring it to me, we'll sprinkle it on there. But, it's hard to defend live ball turnovers, right? It's just hard to do that. So, but we thought that we could have been a little better defensively even in the half court.
Is this a pretty similar Kansas team still to the one you faced the first time, or have they tweaked things quite a bit to make things work?
No, McCullough's playing, and Dickinson, still got, the defensive player of the year at point guard, who's also one of the best point guards in the country. And, they've gone to where they're playing a couple bench guys a little bit more in their rotation. They put them in at certain times to kind of rest their starters. And so, it's pretty much the same team. It's just going to be, we won't have our 11,000 behind us there, and so we got to bring our own energy.
Do you have to go into it with 2 different game plans, knowing that McCullough has been such a game time decision lately?
No, we're going to prepare like he's going to be there, and whoever takes his spot, we're going to treat him like McCullough, because what happens is when guys miss, somebody else steps up. Somebody else has the freedom, like their leash becomes a little bit longer so they can relax a little bit more. They rally behind the guy, and Kevin McCullough's a gamer, man. He's gonna show up and he's gonna play on senior night. I'm pretty sure he's a senior. I'm pretty sure that there's one person on that roster that's a senior. It's Kevin McCullough. So.
Coach, how encouraged were you with what Jerome did offensively the other night?
I was. We are really pleased with Jarrell's progress. He executed some things offensively that we had hoped that he could do, and he's making progress there. And defensively, his energy was different, and so he was really good for us.
Is Jarrell seeing the fruits of what can happen when he plays with high activity?
Yeah. Yes. it's amazing today though that playing with energy and playing hard is a talent, right? Like that used to be the thing that was expected, right? Business owners out there, we expect your employees to come in and work hard, right, and have great energy. Like that's just what you expect. And now today, like you have to look for that. You have to look for that energy and that work ethic and that willingness to play hard. And it's almost like there's two ends of the court for basketball. You don't get to like sub in offense and defense. And now we're like talking about guys being two-way players. When in the world did we ever stop being two-way players? We don't get to sub at half court. And so if there's the young people always asking me, hey coach, what do I have to do to be man, play hard with energy. Be the most competitive person on the floor, right? And people are going to find you. You're going to stick out like a sore thumb. And so Jarrell's energy stuck out like a sore thumb, and that's why y'all are asking me about him today.
The KU K-State rivalry, has it lived up to what you were expecting it to be 3 games in?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, I get our fans a little bit more. I'm understanding it a little bit more. I honestly though, you have to for them to consider us rivals, we got to beat them more. So we got a lot of work to do, right? Obviously, they are a rival to us, and I get that from our fans, and so and I'm right there with them on it.
He's really struggled with depth, and you mentioned it earlier. Coach Self's almost gone to line changes like a hockey lineup. What's that do for the opposing coach? Do you have to flip the switch to match it to do some other stuff?
I mean, you can look at it like, hey, is this the time we get our guys rest? Because we're not very deep either, right? And so is this when we get our guys rest, or do you try to leave your guys in, see if maybe you can make a run on them during that time? Like, there's a bunch of different things that we talk over as a staff. I thought he recognized a problem that he had to figure out a way to get Hunter and some of those guys some rest, and came up with a solution that's been, fairly effective for him. So.
You said last week that you're treating the Cincinnati game like an NCAA tournament game. How similar is the message heading into tomorrow?
Oh, shoot. Man, I feel like this one's to go to Sweet 16, that's the kind of, and man, if you're a recruit out there, right, why wouldn't you want to play in this league when every night is an NCAA tournament game? Like, I'm not the only one saying it. Every announcer, whether they've covered our games 1 time or 10 times, are saying it. Every game, the atmosphere feels like an NCAA tournament game. You're playing against the best teams. I mean, there's something on the line every night, right? This is the spot. I'm just telling, if you don't want to be a part of this, then I would think we'd have to question, how competitive are you? Right? How much do you really want to go against the very best? And so, yeah, huge. This is like preparing for Kentucky last year, to go to the Sweet 16, or Michigan State, to go to Lee. It's that kind of vibe. Woke up this morning, had, a little extra juice, and I'm sure they do too up the road. But I think everyone in the 12 feels like that with these games, right? So, and that's the beauty of this league, right? And I'm passionate about it because it bothers me when people try to question, the level of basketball and the teams that are in this league. That bothers me, and passionate about the Big 12, man.
I think when they were here, you guys got a big 3 and then a block on the other end. How important is it to get a fast start in this one, knowing that if you don't, the crowd will get into it real quick?
Yeah, man, you could get down there and there's no coming back, right? Multiple games this year happened that way. That's why it's so impressive what BYU was able to do, right? And so, yeah, we talked about it. We got to get off to a fast start. You can't win the game in the first half, but I've been there before we lost in the first half and the game was over. And so that's something we're going to do our very best to avoid.
Small detail from the last game, but I was curious about, you put Rich in for the final play. and he hadn't played all the game before that. What was the reasoning there? What did you want him to do in that situation?
But we do a special teams thing, and he's a part of that special teams, and this was the first time all year long that occasion presented himself. So
So he's part of the last 5-second group.
part of the special team play, yeah.